The 22nd of September, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
Okay, we're ready to go.
I have some background noise. I'm going to silence unless I need to say something.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So we're holding here today. We are Yom Hamishi. We did what did we do? Did the Mishnah? Wasn't Metzia? Enough of that. Where did we get to? Oh, I see. Yeah. Last thing we did was Ula answered back to Rav Nachman. Listen to Omer Tchila. Okay, so we're up to, and we did the Rashis also, so we're up to Hachinami Mistabra. Hachinami Mistabra is Ran Yud Daf Yud Amid Aleph 10a, and let's see. We're getting more complicated over here. Okay. Yeah, we did get to Daf Yud. Masnisimani Rabbanan Hu Eli Amar Vyashiva Ani Machlekes about Ani Ani Dibra Kol Zochalo Amani Lo Rabban Lo Rabbi Lezer Amale Masni. So when Ula answered him back, Masnisa the Amar Tchila. Yeah. So this is the fourth line from the top of the Amud 10a.
Hooray for 9b!
Yay! That's right. Okay, wow. We're moving right along here. Okay, so just to do a little bit of a chazorah so we'll be able to understand what we're talking about now, because the Gemora is continuing with what we said in the previous Gemora. So basically, Ula has defended himself. Basically, what we're saying about this case in the Mishnah, Masnisin, is when the guy picked up when the pedestrian picked it up. He picked it up initially with the idea to acquire it for himself. He never intended to acquire it for the rider. Therefore that's why he's able to be zocha in it. He doesn't have to. He has the ability to be zocha in it, even though the person told him to go and pick it up and make an acquisition for him, the rider. But he decided he's going to go and pick it up and make an acquisition for himself, and that's what it means in the Mishnah. And right, so therefore, like that, we're saying that we don't have any proof to what Rav Nachman said that if he would want to pick it up for the rider, that he would that wouldn't be effective. That was that was what Rav Nachman wanted to say. That it was that's the only, and they changed his mind and decided he wants to be Zoka in it for himself. But you see that he wasn't able to pick it up for the rider, and then the Mishnah would be like Rabbanan. So we say no, it's not so. That's not so. That's not what happened in the Mishnah. He initially tchila, he intended to pick it up for himself. What would be if he intended to pick it up for the rider? Maybe he would be able to acquire it for the rider, even though he, the pedestrian, is not getting any share of the thing that he's picking it up. Maybe so. We don't have any proof against that, like this.
Sorry, I've got to go. I'm not got a migraine.
Oh, sorry, Roy. Feel better. Okay, so now we're up to Hachinami Mistaber. So now the Gemara is continuing. On the fourth line, on 10a, from the top. Hachinami Mistaber, we go to Alan to continue. Alan?
Okay, here. NA1, bottom right. Gemara asks, Yidok.
Bottom left, not bottom right.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Hochi, mission itself.
Yeah.
Mission itself. Hochi Nami, Misteba Raw. This interpretation is, in fact, more reasonable. The course or nay, safer. For the latter part of the Mishnah states, in Mishan nor low, if however after he has given it to the rider, or my ani azochi si or to he or he said, I acquired it first. Lo Omar Kalo, he said nothing. Now, if the sole issue is, as Rav Nachman maintains, whether the pedestrian meant to acquire the fine for himself before handing it to the rider, to Hiwa, be say for Rama Li, then why is it necessary for the Mishnah in this latter case to explicitly state the word first in the pedestrian claim? It is self-understood. Afal Delau Omar to Hilo, even if he does not actually say I acquired it first, but simply says I acquired it to Hilo Omar. That obviously means that he's acquired it first. Hello, lay or Kor Mishma Loch. Rather, does a Mishnah not inform us by mentioning the word first explicitly in the latter clause? We sure the Omar to Hua that in the case of the first clause as well, pedestrian claims that he acquired the fine from himself first. For example, initially upon picking it up, only in such a case is pedestrian entitled to keep precisely as Ula interpreted the Mishnah.
Okay, let's see what's this. Let's go over this again. This is a bit complicated. Hachinami mistabra. Hachinami mistabra. So that means that the Gemara is saying that what Ula just got through saying sounds very logical. That sounds like the very logical explanation. Why? Diktani Sefer, because of what we see in the Sefer. Now, what is the case of the Sefer? Let's take a look again in the Sefer. This is on 9b, just a little bit below the middle of the page, where in the Mishnah. And we're talking about the Sefer of the Mishnah. And so that's the third line on the Mishnah. It says, Im Mishan Nosnaloi Amani Zachisibo Tchila Le'amar Klum. So we're talking about the same scenario that we just got through saying, that you got a rider and a pedestrian. The rider orders the pedestrian, pick up that item over there for me. And so he in this Sefer, it says that we understand that he did pick it up and he did give it to him. He picked it up and he gave it to him, and then the Mishnah records if after having already given it to the rider, Omar, the pedestrian, says, Ani zachisibo, I actually acquired it, this item. In that case, and Tchila, he says, I initially, when I picked it up, I intended to acquire it. So in that case, we say, Lo Amar Klum. He has said nothing. His words have no force and effect, meaning to say that he's not acquiring it. He didn't acquire it. The writer is the one who acquires. Okay, so now what's our Gemara have to say about that? If after already giving it to the writer, he says, I already acquired it for myself, Lama Klum, that's what the Mishnah says. He hasn't said anything. It belongs to the writer. And on that, the Gemara makes an inference. Techila b'seifa lamali. Why does it say in the Seifa that the guy said, after he already gave it to the writer, I acquired it techila. I acquired it initially, meaning at the time that I picked it up, even before I gave it to the guy. Why does it have to say that word? Tchila Kamar. The Gemara says, obviously that's what he is saying. There's no point in the Mishnah saying that. Ella lav. Oh. But rather, so the Mishnah says the reason why the Mishnah did say it, even though it seems like it's pshita, Kamash Malon, we learn from here that in the Reisha, he said Techila. Oh, yeah? That's interesting. Okay, don't quite understand it. Maybe Rashi will explain why that's so. But the Gemara is saying that that the real reason why we said tchila in the Sefer is so that we should understand that that's what really happened in the case of the Reisha as well. Kamash Malan, Bereisha, the Ka'amar Tchila. Okay, so do we have Rashi's over here? We got a Rashi, Hachinami Mistabra. This is the third narrow line in the Rashis.
Hachinami Mistabra. Okay. I'll be with you in a second. I gotta turn the light on. It's dark in here. Got cloudy all of a sudden.
Okay, good. Now you can see.
Yeah, okay. Hachinami Mistabra. Just wait. Be with you one more second. Starting drizzling out here, raining already. Okay, Hachim Nami Mistabra. Oh, it's only a line Rashi. Is it the Zichiti that I've merited? Tequila, I merited it first. Agba, that I picked it up. Says the Mishnah. I got it first because when I picked it up.
Yeah, because it doesn't say really explicitly in the Reisha of the Mishnah exactly what the story is. It just says that, right, Amar Chavero, Tanali says, the writer says, get that thing and give it to me. Notla, so it says that he took it. V'amar ani zachisi bo. It says he took it, and then it says that he said I've acquired it. So we don't. It doesn't say that he meant to say he acquired it tchila initially when he picked it up. That he meant to acquire it, and he never had any intention to give it to acquire it for the writer. It doesn't say that. But that's what the Gemora is now saying. Hachinami Mistabra. It does make sense to understand that is what the Mishnah is saying. That's what the Mishnah really means to say. Okay. And now Rashi is going to proceed to explain us how the Gemora's logic is working over here. Midik Tani Sefer. And we say, yes, this is so based upon what the Mishnah teaches in the Sefer case.
Yeah.
Louis, you want to continue? Is Lou there? Yeah?
I'm here. Who here?
Louis, you want to continue with the next Rashi?
Okay.
Midik Tani Sefer, Chule.
Midatani Sefer Chule. V'i Chila, the Sefer, love may misha'es ha gavra hagabe kamar ella ani zachisi techila kodem she nis tai lecha, I'm sorry, lan nim kava nasi zechus ba. So that which we learned in the Seifa, if initially in the Seifa he did not at the time pick it up as to say but I acquired it initially before I gave it to him. It was my intention to acquire it.
Yeah, Rashi's saying that we're dealing with two possible explanations of what the word techila means in the Seifa of the Mishnah. Itchila the Seifa, if the word tchila that's written in the Seifa, la bishas hagbah ka'amar, does not mean to say that from the time that he picked it up. That's what he means to say when he says, I picked it up initially to acquire it for myself. Elo, so that's one possibility that tchila could mean. If it doesn't mean that, says Rashi in explaining the Gemara, but rather what does it mean? It would mean another alternative explanation of tchila, and that would be Ella, rather, anizachisi tchila, I picked it up tchila, kodem shenasatiha lecha, before I gave it to you, the writer. That's also a way to explain what the word tchila means in the Mishnah.
I'm sorry, I'm a little confused about what you just said. He says, I picked it up before I gave it to you?
I said, anizachisi, I was zocha in it. I had intention to make an acquisition in it. Zachisi, that's what zachisi means. That's what it says. Anizachisi tchila kodem shenasatiha lecha. Before, just before I gave it to you.
Okay.
That's another theoretically possible way to explain the word tchila in the Mishnah.
What's the other way?
The other way is to say, b'shas hagbah, that the word tchila, that I picked it up, that I was zocha in it, the Mishnah says I was ani zachisi. That's the words of the Mishnah. It doesn't say picking up. It says ani zachisi. I was zocha in it, tchila. What does it mean I was zocha in it, tchila? The first interpretation was I was zocha in it, meaning I intended to make an acquisition in it, tchila, at the b'shas hagbah, at the time that I picked it up.
And the second one, not at the time I picked it up, but before I gave it to you?
Right.
Uh-huh.
Right. The second, right?
What's the
What?
What's the difference? You're only talking about a matter of a few seconds, right?
What's the difference? We're going to see.
Okay.
Midik Tani Sefer. Okay. Right. Midik Tani Sefer. Im Mishanos Naloi. Amani Zechisi Ba. Tchila. Loi Amar Klum. Okay. Techila b'seifa lamali. Oh, so the Mishnah, the Gemara speaks it out. Diktani Seifa. We said in the Seifa, and now the Gemara is just quoting. I'm reading from the Gemora night right now. Diktani Seifa. We learned in the Seifa. Im mishanos naloi. If from the time that he, meaning if after the time that he already gave it into the hand of the rider, Amar, the pedestrian who had picked it up, said, Ani zachisi bo tchila, I picked it up. I was zocha in it. I made an acquisition in this thing, tchila. And the Mishnah says lo amar klum. If his words are ineffective, the item will belong to the rider. That's what it says in the Mishnah. That's what it says in the Mishnah. So the Gemara asks, Techila the Seif Lamali. Why does it need to say Techila? Why does it need to say Techila in the Mishnah? Lamali. Okay, now we got a Rashi on this. What does the Gemara mean over here? The Gemara is saying, why would the Mishnah need to write the word Tchila? What's the understanding? We have to understand it. Rashi hopefully is going to explain us why is the Gemara saying that it's this pshita that he would not need to say that. Okay, back to Phil. Lamali, Dibra Maskil Lamali. Welcome back, Alan.
Okay.
We're up to a Lamali.
Lamali and the Rashi.
Okay.
Yeah, Rashi's taking us step by step in this Gemara once again.
Lamali. Okay, Lamali. Why do I need it then? The Mishnah. That's in the Mishnah. Vakam Akila. First, Shita. It should be an obvious fact. The Filu Lo Amar Techila, because even if you don't say the word Techila first, it's an separation of our Mishnah Techila. It says Techila. It says first. Come on to say the me matzi who is able matzi maybe is able to say ani zocher ba akshav. I'm requiring it now. Hello, enu biyado, and it is not in his hand.
Oh, you see what Rashi's saying?
No,
Rashi's saying why? Rashi's explaining, what does the Gemara mean when it says, why does the Mishnah need to say that the guy said ani zachisi ba techila? Why does why the Mishnah need to say that he says techila? The Gemara says it's obvious that's what he said. It's obvious that's what he would need to say. Why is it obvious that's what he said? Rashi explains. Why is it obvious? Because pshita dafilu lo omar tchila beferish. Even if he did not say the word tchila beferish, with explicitly and openly that he said that. In other words, if all he said was I was zocha in it, and he didn't say tchila. Pshita dafilu lo amar tchila beferish b'stama tchila ka'amar. He certainly means to imply that he made an acquisition in this item tchila. Certainly means that. even if he doesn't say it. That's certainly what he means. Why? Because even if he didn't say the word tchila in the Mishnah, we would understand that he doesn't mean to say, I'm zocha in it akshav, right now. I'm intending to make an acquisition in this item right now. Yeah, right now you're intending to. It's not in his hand right now. How on earth could he make an acquisition in it right now? It's not in his hand. He already gave it to the writer. Obviously, he cannot make an acquisition in it right now. So therefore, that's Rashi's explanation of what the Gemora means when it says that that the Mishnah said tchila is superfluous. It's unnecessary. Of course, we understand that that's what he meant. He meant at the very least. At the very least, he meant to say that I've acquired it before I gave it to you. So we have two alternatives over here. I acquired it before I gave it to you, or I acquired it when I picked it up. So Lou wants to know what's the difference. Either way, he would seem that he would be able to be the owner. Okay, so fine. We're still in the middle. Now we go to the next step of the Gemora. So the Gemora says elalav. Rather, certainly, when the Mishnah says ani zachisi bo tchila, and the Mishnah does mention that he said this, what does that mean? Kamash Malon, Reisha de Amar Tchila. Let's see Rashi. Lou.
The Reisha to Amrinan Dikatani Zacha Ba de Bida Amar Techila Ve'esh Mo Inan Seifa Im Mishnasani Lo Ta'an Lo Osa Tana Va'amar Ani He ba si mitachila le zorchei la amar klum digale de asta kishe nisna lo de ad asi the high agave. Okay, it's long. Let's see. In the Reisha of our Mishnah, that it taught that he acquired it with his words Techila initially. What is Va'ashmoninan?
And we hear out from here.
And we hear from this in the Seifa that if our Mishnah, let's see, was for him, what is this word? Misha
nasnalo. That if from the time, meaning after the time, that he gave it to him, meaning to the writer.
What's Tan?
He claimed
from him this claim. And he said, I picked it up initially to acquire it. He said nothing. That he revealed that now that he what is this kishenisni? We had it before. I forgot what it meant.
Kishenosnalo, that when he gave it to him,
When he gave it to him, the asay, the high,
the adaita,
the adaita that he knew.
Yeah, that on his das,
that it was agave,
the high agba, that it was with his das, the high that of the high that of this one, meaning referring to the writer, adaita the high on the no, in other words, adaita over here means with him in mind. With him in mind, with who in mind? The high, the writer, Agba, he picked it up.
Oh, he revealed that when he picked it up for the writer.
Yeah, goli daite kishenosnolo, that when he gave it to, right after he in the sefer, he's picking it up and he's giving it to the writer. In the Reisha, he just picked it up and he said, Ani zachisi. He didn't say tchila, but he said, Ani zachisi. In the sefer, he picked it up, he gave it to the writer, and then he said, Ani zachisi tchila. So we're saying, obviously, he means tchila. Even if he wouldn't say it, why did the Mishnah say this word tchila for? So the Gemora is explaining, yes, it's saying tchila to reflect back upon the contrast between the case of the Sefer, where he gave it to the guy after he picked it up, and in the Reisha, where he did not give it to the guy at all. He just picked it up. So we're saying, just like in the Sefer, when he's saying tchila, he means to say, at the time that he picked it up, he intended to acquire it for himself. So too, that's what his intention was in the Reisha when it says Anisa Hisiba. I was Zocha in it. I intended to make an acquisition in it at the time that I picked it up. And the whole difference between the Reisha and the Sefer is that in the Reisha, he didn't give it to the guy. In the Sefer, he gave it to the guy, and then he announced, "Oh, I acquired it for myself when I picked it up." So in the Reisha, where he makes a kinyan for himself, and in the Sefer, we're saying that we don't accept his claim. That's his claim in the Sefer, that's what he did, and we don't accept it. Lo amar klum. His words are not don't have any meaning or import. Because Rashi's explaining, because it's clear that when he gave it to him, it must have been the case that when he picked it up with the person in mind to make an acquisition for the writer. And this is all because we say the word techila in the Sefer. That unnecessary word, seemingly. It's unnecessary for the Sefer, says the Gemora. But the Mishnah put it there. Why did it put it there? It put it there so that we would understand Kamash Malon, that's what happened in the Reisha.
So in other words, what we're saying is the fact that he said Tehillah it means that he's lying.
Yeah.
We don't believe him. We don't believe that he initially intended to acquire it for himself.
Right.
I think our time is up, Rabbi.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Okay.
You haven't answered my question about the nafkamina.
Yeah, we'll get to that tomorrow. Right now, I don't see exactly how we're answering that. Why that was the big deal. Okay, we'll have to think about it.
We live 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, Alan. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Have a good day.
Hey, shkoyach, everybody. All the best. Have a great day and a great week.
Okay, everybody. Be good,
Yeah.
be healthy.